What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Alex. Shout out to the Elite Fleet. Make sure you like and subscribe so you can become a member of the Elite Fleet. Wrapping up this trip here in Medellin, Colombia. Been having a great time. Have not had much time to post, but I had to post about this Barbie movie because I watched a review for it because this thing is taking over. I need you guys to understand this. This Barbie movie is taking over something crazy. 155 million in the opening weekend, 300 million globally in the opening weekend. Listen, that is no small feat. I need you guys to understand, in case you don't realize how big that is, that the opening weekend of Barbie did more than the entire theatrical run of The Flash did. She ran laps around The Flash. When you could run laps around the world's fastest man, that is no small feat. That is more than Transformers. Barbie did more in her opening weekend than Transformers did in this entire American theatrical run. All right, she said, you can't transform better than this. All right, you guys got to understand, it did better than Fast X did in its entire theatrical run. It's all about family. It's all about family. Well, the family could not put you above Barbie. This opened bigger than Across the Spider-Verse. This opened bigger than Guardians of the Galaxy. This opened bigger than Super Mario Brothers. So I had to talk about this because there's some messaging in this movie that I 100% think is great for women. There's some messaging in this movie that I think is awful. Now, I will say this. I have not watched this movie, so my breakdown is based upon a summary that I seen when I watched a review of the movie. I have not seen the movie, so I don't think that there will be heavy spoilers in this essay, but it will be a plot synopsis that generally tells you kind of like the big plot line. So before we get to that point, for any of the ladies who did not want to watch, have not watched this film yet and plan on it, I will let you know when we get to that point. So if you want to click off, you can click off. I don't think it's a major spoiler, but it may be. All right. Other than that, sit back, relax, grab yourself some popcorn because we're about to really get into this and really break down how this is the best thing and the worst thing that has happened to modern women in a long time, pop culture wise, for a multitude of reasons. So let's get straight into it now. Before we get into the movie in itself, I just want to talk about the aesthetic. This movie had one of the best marketing campaigns I've ever seen. And that's one of the reasons it has taken off the way that it has. They really got the girls to girl. They really got the girls behind it. And I just want to say I loved it. I loved seeing it. I had a whole bunch of my homegirls sending me pictures in their little pink. I was able to go online, see a whole bunch of girls with their high heels on and they pink outfits on, looking real bougie, bad and bougie. If you've been subscribed to this channel, you know I like Barbie type chicks. I like my chicks done up. I like my chicks on 10 pretty much all the time. I like them to step out and show up big steppers. So I appreciate the aesthetic. I appreciate the look. Modern women today are not always in their most feminine. They're usually either dressing like sluts or they're dressing with absolutely no effort, sweatpants, hair tied, and chilling with no makeup on. So to see a good balance between getting yourself done up, but also getting yourself done up in a classy way. I really have not seen any slutty Barbie outfits. I haven't. I'm just being honest with you. I have some of the ladies in their outfits going across the screen. The women that I know personally who are not influencers, I black their face out because they're not influencers. But if you're looking at all these outfits, nobody looks like a 304. Nobody looks like a thigh. Everybody looks really classy. Everybody looks really pinup dollish. And I love the pinup doll era. So a lot of these dudes, listen, if you dudes can't appreciate anything else about this movie, you should be able to appreciate the aesthetic, the femininity, the pink, the popping, everything that's going on. So I want to say that first. You ladies were looking absolutely beautiful. That's probably the part of this that I love the most. Old school, cute femininity at its finest. I know some of y'all probably want me to say, oh, the black women were looking beautiful. They were. The white girls, the pristine milk was looking real pristine. You could dip your Oreo in it. All right. My cocoa sisters was looking real chocolate and delicious. All right, my mocha sisters was looking really good. All right, it was no leftover lo mein this time. All right, we got pristine Korean barbecue. My Asian sisters was looking really good. There were no refried beans out there this time. All right, we got fresh black beans on my Chipotle burrito. My Hispanic girls were looking good. Everybody was looking good. So if you couldn't appreciate this feminine energy in these outfits and this just overall poppiness, I don't know what to tell you as a man. I mean, if you're going to be mad about everything else, you should not be mad about that. All right, that was a good thing that came out of this. That's why I said there's some good and there's some bad. So I'm going to start with the good. Now, the bad. All right, we're still not getting into spoiler territory yet. I will give you a warning before we get into spoiler territory. Now, some of the bad that came along with this film. I remember the first teaser trailer that came out, and there's some images about that going on in the background. And in the teaser trailer, if you just look at it at face value, it was good, right? Because the teaser trailer is basically like, before the Barbies came out, girls' only option really of a toy was a baby doll. You had baby dolls. Girls' toys basically were all catered to taking care of a family or prep to be taking care of a family. So they'd have like easy bake ovens. They would have Barbie dolls, fake vacuum cleaners, fake stoves, everything to basically set them up to be a housewife. Barbie was kind of the first toy that was actually an adult, and you could make it do adult things, right? And so the creator, without skipping ahead, but basically the creator created Barbie because she seen her daughter playing with dolls, but playing with the dolls as if the dolls were adults, right? So she was playing with the dolls essentially as if, the doll was going to work, the doll had a boyfriend, the doll had kids, things of that nature. So when the creator of Barbie seen that, she decided to make a Barbie so that the little girls actually had adult toys to play with, like the boys had action figures and things of that nature. It could get a little bit more versatile. They could do her hair, change her outfits, buy her a house, get her a job, pretty much any job. Then they made a kin, so now she can have a boyfriend. The boyfriend could be later on. You could get different color Barbies. You could get different color kins. Tomato. You guys are getting the point. You could work any job. You can have a family. You can have a boyfriend. It's a little bit more of an adult toy. Give a little bit more variety to it. On the flip side of that, I was watching that teaser trailer and I'm like, damn, so you have these little girls breaking these dolls. They could have just tossed these dolls to the left. They could have just tossed these dolls to the right. They chose to do neither. They broke the baby dolls. So you could look at that from another aesthetic. You could look at that as what type of programming were they pushing with this Barbie? Was this the beginning of women basically throwing away their families, throwing away their nurturing, caring, and femininity to basically be a bad bee, focus on their career, focus on getting educated, focus on their aesthetic, focus basically on themselves and not others, right? You could look at it that way, or you could go even deeper and you could look at it as an allegory for deleting babies. As y'all know, we have the Roe v. Wade going on right now. It's been a big talking point over the last year or so. Again, they're smashing these dolls. So you could also look at it as, is this a message about deletion? Deletion of babies. Again, going back to not prioritizing being a wife, not prioritizing being a mother, just prioritizing being bad and being independent and doing what you want to do and focusing on yourself. Giving up that nurturing and caring aspect for just yourself. All right. Now, there's a balance in there, guys. I do think women do need to have time away from their family, away from their man to do their own thing and focus on being the bad. But you could also look at this allegory, right? You could also look at this image as if it's portraying the deletion of children, the unimportance of the family, decentralizing the family, and centralizing yourself and being a baddie and being strong and independent. You could take that two different ways, right? You could just take it as an allegory of, okay, we're breaking out of that mold where all we are basically moms. And we're going into all the other aspects of what we could be. Or you could look at it as this was the first step in the agenda of the strong and independent woman. And it kind of started a long time ago with the Barbie. And it's just been amped up since then. You could look at it either way. In this film, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different points and statements that you could kind of look at either way, depending on how you decided you wanted to look at it, all right? Now, we're going to move off of that teaser trailer because I've already broken down the two different ways that teaser trailer could be taken. Well, three different ways, actually, that teaser trailer could be taken. And that's why I said this movie in a lot of ways was good for modern women, but in a lot of ways it was bad. Now I'm going to get into some of the ways that it was bad, some of my issues with it. Now is where I'm going to give the spoiler warning. All right, if you have not seen the film, you plan on seeing the film, you might want to click off now and come back after you've seen it, because this might spoil some of it for you, all right? So that's your last chance to do that, and we're moving forward. Now, the general synopsis of this film, right, is that you're in Barbie land, and in Barbie land, basically the women run everything. Everybody's happy, everything's perfect, everyone is perfect. There's like no cellulite, everybody has like the perfect figure, the perfect life, the perfect jobs, whatever the case may be. All right, come out, they're always peppy, they're always happy, they're always chilling, strictly in their divine feminine at the highest peak. The only problem with this place is the Kens have essentially nothing to do. In the Barbie world, the Kens are basically just there for Barbie. They have no other purpose besides Barbie. The Kens don't work. The Kens don't own any property. As a matter of fact, when the Barbies go to sleep, the Kens just stand there. You almost have to wonder if they have like a house or a life or anything. All right. Now, again, I did not see this film. I'm going off of the review. But based upon the review, this is basically how it starts. All the Kens are competing for the attentions of Barbies. They have no real purpose outside of Barbie. They're just there to support Barbie, basically. Barbie's the one who works. She runs everything. It's her world. We're just living in it. Now, I know this is supposed to be an analogy for how the director, Greta, views the world for women. Whereas it's like the men run everything. The men are the one doing the working. The women basically only exist for the men and to have a kid. When the men aren't there, they don't even really have anything to do. Now, I don't agree with that analogy because, I mean, we can't on one hand say being a housewife is one of the hardest jobs in the world. Then on the other hand, act as if when men go out and work and they do all these great things and the women are just kind of there. It doesn't line up. It has to kind of be one or the other if you're asking me. But I digress. All right. Now, this is very important because it's going to go into one of my biggest flaws of this film. Because my thing is, this film had the potential to make a very, 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 very powerful message, and it shat the bed. It shat the bed. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying that, right? So eventually, Barbie starts having issues. Right? Starts getting cellulite. She's not as perfect anymore. Her feet start to get flat, blah, blah, blah. You know, girl shit. So she decides to go to the human world, try to make the girl who owns her happy so she can go back to being perfect again or whatever. And when she goes to the human world is when she runs into the patriarchy, right? Like it's dudes smacking her on the behind while she's roller skating. Now, I think they put a little heavy on the patriarchy. You're not, as a woman in America, going to be fucking out skating and someone's going to slap you on your ass. That ain't happening. But whatever. Like they really wanted to play up that in the world, men run everything. In the world, the men dominate. In the world, the women are the submissive. In the world, the women are the ones struggling to find their place, struggling with insecurities and stuff like that. Now, going back to what I said to you guys before about the Kens, a lot of the Kens were insecure due to the fact that outside of Barbie, they had no real purpose or meaning. The Barbies didn't really like the Kens. Now, this is going to come back into play later. The Barbies did not really like the Kens. The Kens were basically just accessories to the Barbies. They did not really like the Kens. So anyway, Barbie and Ken go to the world. Barbie runs into the patriarchy. The little girl doesn't even like her because she's like, yeah, you're everything that's wrong with modern society. You're the skinny, pretty, blonde, blue-eyed, perfect girl. We're supposed to look like you. And it sets unreal body expectations for women. Which, you know, and again, this is part of the messaging, which I think that could be good for the girls. But at the same time, I mean, how can a doll set unrealistic body standards? It is a doll at the end of the day. I don't know. Women have to stop blaming everything else on their own insecurities and their own problems with their bodies. Because as a man, I can say I've never looked at an action figure and thought, oh, man, this action figure is jacked. I don't have as many muscles as this action figure. There must be something wrong with me. Oh, it's an action figure of a superhero. To me, the superhero is larger than life. To me, G.I. Joe is larger than life. To me, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, they're larger than life. I don't expect to be like them. First of all, they're not real. Second of all, they're superheroes. Why would I look like a superhero? I'm a human. Of course I'm going to have flaws. Girls' brains don't work this way. Now, that's fine. There's a multitude of reasons for that. This video would be 2 hours if I broke down every single reason for that. But my point here is you can't blame the damn doll. Like, it's weird to me how they're going to blame the doll. Like, yeah, you set unrealistic body expectations. Nobody's expecting you in real life to look like a damn Barbie. Nobody is. Now y'all actually do with all these surgeries and shit. That's the funny part. Now you actually do. And guess what? Nobody really likes it. Nobody really likes it. That's why that phase is dying already. So, but whatever. I didn't have a major problem with that message. All right. The bigger point I want to get to is when they go to the real world, it's supposed to be dominated by men. Ken sees this patriarchy. This is the first place where the men are heard. When they talk, people listen. The men are in control. The men are making the rules. The men are dominating. The men are making more money. Ken has never seen anything like this before. So he naturally likes it. He's like, yeah. I like this. Yeah, this is lit. This is what's up, right? So what happens is Ken ends up going back to Barbie land before Barbie does. Because at one point she gets captured, and I don't really know how or why it goes on with that, because that goes into the part where I didn't see the film. So Ken goes back to Barbie land, and Ken establishes the patriarchy in Barbie land to the point where by the time Barbie gets back, now Barbie land looks like the real world, where the men are in charge and running everything, and the girls are playing more of a secondary role. Okay, now this gets into my biggest issue with the whole film. Because this film, like I said at the beginning, it had the opportunity to tell a really, 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 really good, great message. But it fumbled the bag because at this point, we seen the Kens, we seen the matriarchy in Barbie land, where the women run everything. It's girl power, right? And we got to see how that made the Kens feel and how they were basically useless and how they were insecure and they didn't know their place in the world as a result. Barbie got to go to the real world. She got to see the patriarchy, an exaggerated form of the patriarchy, but irregardless, the patriarchy. And how women don't feel seen and women don't feel heard, and how it can make them insecure or feel like a second-class citizen. So having seen both sides of your Barbie, right, if you really want to make her the hero, if you really want to make her the protagonist, you had the perfect opportunity if you were Greta to make it so that Barbie said, listen, I know what it feels like to be a Ken because I went to the world where we didn't dominate. It was a terrible feeling. It was a bad feeling. I don't want to make anyone else feel like that. So as a result of me not wanting to make anyone else feel like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything equal. We're going to be balanced. We're going to be partners. The women are going to live their best lives in their divine femininity, whatever that is for them, right? If they want to work, they can work. If they want to be a housewife, they can be a housewife. We're still going to be happy, peppy, dressed up, doing our thing. But the guys have the same options, all right? They can go out here. They can get their money. They can live their best life, whatever they want to do. Perfect opportunity for that. Hey, listen, let's not subjugate anybody. Let's just let the women be in the divine femininity. Let the men be in their divine masculinity. Blend them together and show how this could really work in real time if we both put our egos to the side, right? And we support one another. But instead, what the film does, which is what I keep telling you guys, modern feminism, not original feminism, third and fourth wave feminism, is the film tricks the Kens into basically fighting each other. And then the Barbies subjugate them again. And the film ends with the Kens re-subjugated, the matriarchy reestablished. Not everyone's happy again. The men are second-class citizens again. And Barbie basically hates Ken. She never likes Ken. They never have a real relationship. They never get together. They never have any children. She basically says screw Ken the entire film and screw Ken at the end. That's right. There's no Barbie and Ken. There's no Barbie and Ken love. The matriarchy is reestablished, and that's supposed to be the big hero's ending. Now, the fact that the director took the time, but for me just watching the synopsis, the fact that she took the time to visualize matriarchy and patriarchy in contrast to each other says to me that this woman was probably trying to do something really clever and maybe wanted to do what I suggested, which is talk about how neither is good and we need to be in balance, right? And we need to help each other out. Someone may or may not have told her, we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to say, matriarchy, because that was disappointing. Because this movie had the chance with the eyeballs on it, with the amount of women watching it. Understand what I'm saying to you. Going back to what I said earlier, the women watch videos tailored to men so they know how to move around men. They know what men are expecting to do. They know how men are going to come at them before the men come at them. We as men need to start doing the same thing. You need to pay attention to what the women are telling each other, what they're watching, what they're listening to. It is very important that you do that. And the reason that it's extremely important that you do that is so that you know what's being programmed to your women. So if it's something you don't want programmed in or something you need to look out for, you know what it is. Right? And I'm saying that to say they had the opportunity to really push, listen, we both need each other, we both love each other, and they chose not to do that, which, again, you can't be surprised. It's Hollywood, it's the agenda, right? It ain't no different than YouTube. Most people have the option to show how the divine masculine and the divine femininity could work together and be happy, but most men tend to talk about how women are this and women are that, and this is how you control them, and this is how you dominate them because they're evil. And most of the women on this platform choose to talk about how men are this and men are that, and this is how you control them and dominate them because men are evil. You see very few channels like mine where we talk about the balance and the good and bad in everyone. So I'm not surprised this movie did this, but I will say, and I could be completely wrong, I think the director was kind of wanted to get that message across, but she just wasn't allowed to do that. Because, again, if she would have pulled that off, if she would have ended this movie with, listen, I know how the matriarchy makes the men feel, and I got the experience how the patriarchy makes women feel. Let's just get rid of both. That would have probably been the best message, the best agenda in any movie that came out this year. Bar none. This could have been legendary. Instead, it just basically said, hey, listen, women aren't as bad as men when we run things, so we should run things. Especially with a film this big, you had that chance to really land that kind of a message. And you basically say, nah, I ain't going to do that. And that's it. You know, and that's kind of my thoughts. If they would have stuck that landing, this had the potential to be great for modern women and to be one of the best messages in the film this year. But they didn't stick the landing. But the good thing is, listen, it wasn't that bad. A lot of you dudes, especially the white dudes, the white dudes are tripping. They pissed off. Listen, I get it. I keep telling y'all because they're getting their ass kicked on too many other levels. The Asians over here making all the money. They owe Asia $3.2 trillion. The women are taking over. They all in the superhero movies. They all up in the government. Then they got their own movies to the side like Barbie where they're still pushing their own agenda. So white men are catching L's all over the place. That's probably why they're so damn pissed about this movie. They like, this some bull. But the messaging really wasn't that bad. Could have been a lot worse, all things considered. So at least they didn't put up straight up feminist garbage to that many young female eyeballs. But there's clearly an agenda, and the agenda is clearly to either separate women from men or make men subjective to women. This agenda has been in play for a long time. And again, it should surprise no one. But I really do think, if it's not the director, the writer, somebody really wanted to talk about balance in this, but they just weren't allowed to talk about the balance. Balance doesn't make you money. Being real, people hate what's real and they love what's fake. So at the end of the day, I was just happy to hear it wasn't as bad as a lot of people thought that it was going to be. White men, you got to calm down. All right, this movie's not going to make or break your relationship with women. It's not that big of a deal. The girls are looking cute. They're being feminine. Take the win. All right, because at the end of the day, if you're a masculine man, you're not going to have anything to worry about. The positive of this is if you're paying attention to how the women act and you're paying attention to how the women are dressed, and they're straight and they're soft girl right now. They're straight and they're feminine right now. They're showing you what they want to be. So if the message and the agenda was pushing for them to be nurturing, caring, submissive, and feminine, they would be doing it. Because, listen, the agenda just told them, hey, dress up, get cute, be in your feminine, wear pink, and come to this. And they all did it. Which kind of proves what I've been saying to you guys for a long time. Modern women really, honestly, are just as submissive as they've always been. You just have to be that much more of a masculine man to pull it out of them now. Because it's not automatic. Like, femininity used to be women's default setting. Let that breathe, run it back. Femininity used to be women's default setting. It is no longer the default setting. It is now reserved for real ninjas. Real dudes, real men, big steppers, If you're a big stepper, you're going to get you a Barbie. If you are not a big stepper, you're not going to get you a Barbie. You're going to get you a Bratz. No, I'm just joking, but no, for real. You're going to get you someone more than masculine, someone more than dominant. So it kind of comes down to you. Even if you play off of the whole Ken thing, the Kens in that movie were borderline fruit baskets. They were like metrosexuals. There was no real masculine men in there. Now, without even having to watch the film, just seeing the aesthetic of how they're presented. In the aesthetic of the film itself, there was no masculinity from them. So a real dude, you seen Ken, even in his metrosexuality, go back after seeing the patriarchy and take over in like 2 days. So imagine what can happen if you a real man, if you a big stepper, big colonist, you could do the same thing in real life at the end of the day. You just have to be a big stepper and a complete masculine man. So that was my essay on this. Had some good things. I love that it brought the femininity out of the women, had them wearing their little outfits and things of that nature. Has some good messaging in it. It has some bad messaging in it too. But it also depends on how you interpret everything, right? You can make anything good or you can make anything bad depending on your frame of mind at the time and what you want it to be. The mind is a powerful thing. So if you want to perceive it as good, you can. If you want to perceive it as bad, you can do that too. It's your world. We just live in it. So let's just enjoy the ladies looking good. And let's just remember what I just said at the end of this video where I said, listen, if you're a big stepper, if you're a masculine man, if this movie has shown you nothing else, it's shown you that at the end of the day, girls want to be girls. They don't want to be these strong, independent, powerful people. There's a reason why the Marvels will not touch Barbie in terms of their opening weekend. In terms of the effect it's having on women. Most women don't desire to be superheroes. They'll watch it. They might like it. Most women don't desire to play video games. They might play. They might, some do, right? But most women just want to get dressed up. They just want to be cute. And they just want to do girly things. And this movie has shown if you stop trying to make women want to be in guy spaces, stop trying to make them want to be athletes, stop trying to make them want to be superheroes and all this other extra BS, stop watering down male fields to make space for women and just let women have their own thing, you can make money and they're going to be happy. The women are happy playing dress up, going to the movie theater with their colorful fluorescent ass colors on and their makeup and their high heels and playing Barbie. If anything, this movie is kind of an allegory for no matter how much they try to masculinize the women, no matter how much they try, at the end of the day, women always will fall back to their femininity. They'll always fall back to their femininity. If you give them the option, or you can be a badass, kick-ass superhero, or you could be a Barbie, they're going to be a Barbie 9 out of 10 times. This proves that. That's what they want to do. Which means at their core, they are still feminine, which is why I tell you guys all the time. So really, there's more good in this than bad. And that's why I said it's the gift and the curse for modern women. It's full of good, it's full of bad. Some of the messaging is good, some of the messaging is bad. But it's kind of like that with everything. So that's the way I walk away from it. You know, like I said, it could have delivered the best message of the year, fell short. But it also could have been a lot worse. And it also still showed you a lot of really important things as men. And one of the most important things that it showed you is that women still want to be women. They are still cute. They are still dainty. They are still feminine at their core. And the only reason they're acting out is because the agenda is telling them to. Women are followers by nature. So if you're not a big stepper, masculine man, guy of her dreams, you're not going to be bigger than the agenda, so she's not going to follow. But if you bigger than the agenda, if you ever think she want more, she's going to follow and she's going to fall in line with whatever you want her to be. All right, so I'm going to go back to vacationing. I'll probably re-upload a couple of old videos. I might make another soundboard video like this. I don't know. Depends on how much time I got. But I'm going back out to live my best life, as the ladies would say. I am Alex. And I am out, y'all. Peace. If you've seen the movie, if you've got your own thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comment. As long as the comment is not disrespectful, it will not be deleted. If you would like to book a consultation, relationship consultation, or financial consultation, because I am an official in real life financial consultant, shoot me an email. All right, if you want to donate, the Cash App is in the description. I am Alex, and I am out. Peace.